guys, welcome back. Reese and Ben here pursuing Knightly Arts, and today we got to practice some more work with the play of the axe, le jeu de la hache. So today we got to work through the section covering the binding of the cues.
In le jeu, we commonly see that the cues are used, often a lot for defensive use, to parry strikes, to control distance, to control your opponent, and particularly your opponent's axe. So in using your cue, you may find yourself in a bind with your opponent's cue. This is a solution that le jeu gives us for that incident.
As you guys will see now.
Paragraph 35. If your axes are crossed at the two tails, you can make him raise the tail of his axe very high, and from there you can lower the end of your tail while drawing it back a little, sliding it through the hand until you can pass it under his tail, again without moving away more than the least possible. And from there you can strike backhanded against his axe to try to make it escape from his hand. At least redirect it in such a way that you may be able to get between him and his axe while stepping to his left side. And from there, you can push by means of demi-hache to the side to knock him to the ground.
Paragraph 37. If by chance he does it to you, you could counter it by raising your axe up close to you and passing your tail from below between you and him, and from there raise it up against his stomach and push him from you.
Paragraph 38. Another counter. If he does it to you, you must raise your axe well away from you, and from there, leave it up against his stomach, straightening yourself against him, and push him from you.
Paragraph 39. If you can do this well and suddenly, as you turn, you can throw the bec de falcon on his neck and pull him toward you to see whether you can destabilize him.
That was the said techniques from le jeu de la hache with the binding of the cues. We're going to now discuss a little bit about what we learned along the way. So the first one we did was paragraph 35, which you bind the lower cue and you raise high.
I think the purpose of raising high, we found in practical application, is that when your hands are over your head or up high, you're not as strong in that position, so you're easier to displace. It's easier to break your axe out of your hand. So I believe that puts you in that position that's optimal for taking advantage of either making you lose your axe or taking the back of your axe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what was interesting for me when working through this, dipping that underneath, it's fairly quick, and they recommend you to dip underneath and to do as little as possible, little movement. Now the video I actually did over top. That was a slight mistake, but we did end up in the correct position.
Yeah.
So
I think mostly an artifact from previous training. The way we used to strike down an axe is we tend to pull with our arms downward, so it's a more natural motion to go over the top for us. Le jeu recommends going under. Again, that's probably because of the height of the axe, and it's going to be the quickest path around the axe, so the person doesn't have time to react. something we'll try again here in the future, and maybe throw a filler video in on that technique specifically and see what a difference it makes.
Yeah, so that was a slight mistake on my part, but we did end up in the same position, the correct position. So the next part, of course, is paragraph 37, and it just tells you by chance if he does it to you, you know what to do with the counter. Passing your tail from below between you and him, raise him against his stomach. Yeah. So this was really interesting on my end. Because when I'm doing a passing step in order to use my demi-hash or what have you, it like essentially stuffs my attack. So by placing it on my stomach and me doing a passing step, this cue, the tail of this cue goes kind of where my hip is. So that's kind of like a natural pocket, and that just utterly stops me in my tracks.
Yeah, I found this technique seems to work the best if you withdraw your axe before they gain the back of your axe. So as he tries to get the back of my axe, I pull my axe towards me. He's committed to his strike. He's tries to strike my cue and then steps in because he's ready to do the push. And I found that just by getting my hands away and then extending out, I would stop him mid-step, which is always the best way to stop a guy in armor and when he's in mid-movement.
And the second part of that, of course, is if I do gain the back of his axe, that's fine because all you do is extend long, and you're still relatively in the same position. Yeah,
definitely. The second part of it, if he got my axe, I found it easier to just follow his pull as he was trying to strike against my axe and extend my hands, and that did put my axe right into his stomach the same way, except this way, as he passes, I now have to do a passing step as well and turn myself on him where it says to straighten yourself on him. Is initially, as my axe goes in, it binds across my body. I have to step and turn to right my arms up to bring my structure back in to control him. Otherwise, he would push right through me. So it definitely required me to take that step.
Yeah, that leads up, of course, then to paragraph 39, in which it says, if you can do this well and suddenly, then using the back of your axe to hook on the back of the neck until on the ground. Now, when he came around with that, when he squared away with his step and put his back there, my momentum's gone forward. So essentially, that back on the back of the neck just assisted me further from falling over. And he's throwing me between my feet too. And you guys saw in the video that I landed straight in my face, which was kind of an interesting moment because when I fell on my face, the snout of my visor actually, I felt the energy kind of just went past me. So I didn't feel really anything of force. It was kind of a cool, nerdy armor moment. Yeah. But yeah, already from there, I felt unbalanced, and then he just essentially just assisted me further with the back. So.
What this technique is, basically timing and placement. You have to do this, that's why it says if you can do this suddenly, well and suddenly. So you have to do the technique properly. So the first one, if he pulls your axe and you extend it into his stomach and step around with him at the right time, if you step late, his axe is going to wind up wedged between your axe and your leg, and you're not going to be able to throw your back onto his neck because your axe is going to get stuck. But if you step at just the right time, your axe pulls away from his, and as it pulls away, you can just fling your back right onto his neck, and then it doesn't take much if he's committed to the push, just a slight tug towards you, and it pulls him right off of his feet because he's already committed to that movement and kind of screws himself.
Yeah, and with this, when people often bout and such, they tend to keep it linear. And a real fight is not. You completely circle each other and stuff. So the fact that he does a passing, actually he steps
a slope step.
A slope step, yeah, the slope step to the side. But people tend to get caught up, and we've been guilty of this too. When we're fighting so linearly, and really a fight needs to be, you need to circle your opponent, change your positions. Yeah, change your lines. That's going to give you the advantage. So, and that technique is a perfect one, illustrating that sort of dynamic. So,
the change in line changes the direction the energy is going and allows you to push him off his center relatively easily.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, thank you for watching. We appreciate your viewership very much. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell on top. That way you guys will be getting more notifications when we release new videos. So a special thanks to our Patreon supporters for making the channel happen. And if you guys haven't already checked out our Patreon page, we'll have the link down in the description below. And if you can donate, great. That will help us make the channel better and better. If not, all we ask is that you share it with your friends.
And upcoming events, we do have a event we're going to be going to. Will be the Companions of the Seven Swords Armored Fighting Symposium. This is going to be hosted by the Medieval Swordsman Guild of Kansas City. Details in the description below. And if you guys are interested in that event, it's coming up here pretty soon. The date also in the description below, because I don't have it off the top of my head. But it is a good event. It's first time for it, but it's going to be pretty detailed in armored fighting. Lots of different instructors that are skilled and got a lot of experience in armored fighting. And it will be definitely a good learning experience. Nothing like this really exists at this moment. So there are small classes here and there at other venues and things, but this is the first event that is solely focused on this. There will be a period deed of arms done very out of actually historically based, with a lot of historical based pageantry involved, so you get to kind of get that feel of what it was like to attend, you know, a passage of arms in the time period. So that'll be a blast.
Yeah, and of course we'll be there covering the event, and give you guys, we'll hopefully get some interviews with the instructors, and yeah, it should be a really good time, guys. So but yeah, we'd love to see you guys there, and make sure you register. Do it now. So, and as always, guys, we appreciate you watching, and we'll see you guys next video. So take care.